Alrighty. Good morning, good afternoon, good night, whenever you're watching this from the 214 Sports Show, episode 40, the Big 40. This week, I'm your host, CJ Croach, joined with Courtney Machani and Joseph Duffy. How are y'all doing today?
Awesome, man. Episode 40. Can you believe it? Crept up on us out of nowhere. Already on
Crazy,
episode
bro.
40. Heading on to a year of action of doing this
Father Time is
podcast.
really catching up to this podcast right now.
It's crazy.
It's out of its prime. I don't know, man. But yeah, of course, we have a very, very good episode because it's the first week, or not the first week, sorry, the first year where the Dallas Stars and Dallas Mavericks both advanced to the Western Conference Finals in the same year. Pretty crazy time to be a Dallas sports fan. And, it's even crazier. I mean, you look at 2022 and the Mavs made the Western Conference Finals. It was just the Mavs. Then the Stars made it in 2023. And now 2024, both of them did it. Pretty sick, man. Pretty good recent couple years. Just need a championship from one of them.
And gladly, you don't have to deal with the scheduling from last round where they're both playing on the same night. And at least this upcoming conference schedule,
Amen.
it can be alternating. So that's cool for the schedule this coming week.
Yeah, we're going to have guaranteed 8 straight days starting today, Wednesday, May 22nd, which is pretty crazy. 8 straight days of playoff hockey or basketball. But we're going to move on today's date in Dallas sports history, another important playoff game. Well, not really important playoff game. We know how this series ends up. But this is the first game of the Western first round playoffs. Sorry, I'm messing up my words. Of 2021, when the Mavericks beat the LA Clippers 113-103. Luka Doncic had a triple-double, 31 points, 10 rebounds, 11 assists. Tim Hardaway Jr. had 21 points, 5 for 9 from three-point shooting. Could really use that in this series. Dorian Finney-Smith at 18 points. He shot 4 for 5 from 3. This team shot 47% from 3 in this game. Jalen Brunson was a little bit of a free throw merchant this game, but he had 15 points, 7 for 8 from the free throw line. And only 21 minutes for him. And then also the Clippers, they had 26 from Kawhi and 23 from Paul George. But start off that series with a Game 1 win. The Mavs and Stars are allergic to winning Game 1s. We'll see how that changes tomorrow or tonight. Yeah, that was my on today's date. Not a lot of very important victories on this date, unfortunately, for the Mavericks and the Stars. Exactly. We're getting too far into the playoffs. It's getting rarer and rarer.
We're kind of getting spoiled here in DFW sports. Everybody making their jokes and more cowboy cheap shots, of course. But
oh yeah, the Cowboys discourse.
You knew it was coming as soon as they made the Western Conference Finals. The Mavs did, and the Stars
oh, for
did.
Sure.
We're
gonna have to look back on that poll we ran back in the summer, right when we started the 214 Sports Show, to see what was the poll on who thought was going to win the first championship in Dallas sports since the last one in 2011.
Oh wow! But nobody said.
I think a lot of people said the Cowboys.
Really?
Which is the furthest one from the answer at this point. Pretty crazy. Crazy. So, anyways, just a quick trivia to get us started. I wanted to ask y'all real quick, if I could just find it. What has been the highest seed that the Dallas Mavericks have been in the playoffs since their championship year? Not counting the championship year. They were the 3rd seed in 2011. Do y'all know what was the highest seed that they've had since that, present day?
It's got to be...
well, I know they've been 1 seed for sure.
It's got to be the 4th in 2022, I'm guessing, with opening round against Utah. Because other than that, it's either been 5th seed.
In the playoff.
It's been
since their championship year.
7th seed. We were again 5th seed this year against the Clippers. So I think it's the 4th seed. That's the only time I can remember that we opened up with home court advantage in the first round. So I think that it was 4th seed 2022 against Utah.
Yeah. It's impossible for them to beat.
I can't think of anything higher than that.
All right, 2 for 2. 2 for 2 this week on this week's trivia. Pretty easy question, I guess. But hey, like the context clues right there. Only season since the championship year that we've started out at home in the playoffs was 2022 when we were the 4th seed. So, yeah, 2022 is the highest seed that we've had since the championship year. So regular season we haven't been too spoiled, but postseason these last few years, yeah, we've been spoiled for sure. So before we start with our kind of review of the Thunder series and preview of the Timberwolves series, and also the same with the Stars series, we're going to head into Pirtle and a very, very quick Pirtle.
Hopefully quick.
But
we've been rolling recently.
We have been rolling, as long as, again, they don't give us any Northwestern player. Let's see if they give us an active player still playing one of these 4 teams. Let's start with Luka. Just something super easy. Watch. Oh, that's not good.
That is
not good.
Yikes.
All right, so someone in the East, though, at least.
Jonathan Isaac.
Jonathan Isaac?
I got you picking Jonathan Isaac, man.
So how do you say
his sneakers? His Judas sneakers.
Isaac, there we go.
Oh,
okay.
Not a bad guess. Okay. Not a bad guess.
Dang, he's really is 6'10".
He's tall. All right.
East forward.
6'8", 6'9". I'm thinking of what's up?
Oh no, Jason Tatum is 0, isn't he?
I was gonna say we gotta get somebody young. It's somebody real young. I'm gonna go like Aaron Naismith. Or is that young? Is that young enough?
No, he's young. He should be young.
Yeah, he's young. He's young.
Oh my god.
Okay, I didn't know he was 6'5". I thought he was taller than that.
24.
He plays.
So it has to be somebody. Yeah, it's Celtics, Knicks, Nets, Raptors.
Oh no, Orlando. No.
Yeah, it's Celtics, Knicks, Nets, Raptors, or Sixers.
Celtics, Knicks, Nets.
Is Deuce McBride a forward or is he a guard? Small forward, or is he a shooting guard?
I would say he's more of a guard, and I don't think he would be 6'8", 6'9".
I know Mikal is older than that.
This is a tough one. It's a tough one. I'm trying to think of just Boston at this point.
They don't want that team.
They don't really have anyone young that would be a wing like that.
Sam Hauser, you said?
Yeah.
I don't know how old he is, but I mean, we could try it.
Oh, yeah, Sam Hauser, we could try it. I don't know about the years either.
Oh, man.
Okay.
Lord.
All right, well, I don't think...
He's 26, though. Wow.
So it's an eliminated team. I'm going to go Mikal Bridges just because he's older than that. He's older than that.
Go Grady Dick.
Is he 6'6"? 6'6".
Okay,
he is young. He was a rookie. So that narrows it down a lot. So it has to be Knicks, Nets, or Raptors. Or no, not Knicks, Nets, or Sixers. They have to be 19. I'm guessing who would be on the Nets that would be this young?
That's what I'm trying to remember. I cannot remember their draft pick for the life of me.
Why can't I remember?
Wait, the Raptors are in the Atlantic Division?
Yeah.
Are we showing silhouette? I'm showing silhouette.
Scotty Barnes, right?
No, it's not Scotty. It would be Toronto. It's not Toronto. Oh my gosh, man!
I can't think of this rookie class. I'm not gonna lie to
you, dude. I don't know this rookie class like that. I do not know this rookie class like this.
Oh my gosh!
If he's not a rookie, then he was a very young player last year.
Is this Cam? Cam?
Nah, Cam didn't get drafted last year.
That's what I was.
We could try for the team though. We might as well go for a Nets team.
Oh no!
See if he's on the Nets or not.
So it is the Nets.
Okay.
Oh my love this.
And they're 22 or 21 for the number.
We have never.
I'm gonna be honest. Yeah. I think we got to give up.
Yeah,
it looks like Nick Claxton, but he's not that young. That's the problem.
Nah, Nick Claxton.
No, I mean I don't know anyone on the Nets roster. The Nets roster is it Jalen Wilson? Is that who it's gonna be? The guy from Kansas last year, or is it? So it's Noah. Okay, all right. You guys want to know? You guys want to get? He went to Bama last year. It's Noah Clowney.
Never. Never in my life would I have
Come
gotten
on,
that.
man.
This is
How are we guessing Noah Clowney? How are
this
we
is a sick,
guessing
sick
that?
game, man.
Sick.
That is a sick, sick game right there. That was very bad. I don't like that.
That was the worst one we could
Um,
get.
That's terrible.
but luckily, Dallas is in the Western Conference Finals for both basketball and hockey, so it doesn't even matter that we missed Portal. We are still up, and we're going to start with the Mavericks. Just real quick, of course, we just beat the Oklahoma City Thunder. I'm going to go real quick and just say I was very angry. I knew that we are going to have to play the Thunder in the playoffs, especially in that, definitely in that second round as a fifth seed. Didn't really have a lot of hope in New Orleans beating them. And I was dreading it. It was such. I did not like what I saw when we played Oklahoma City in the regular season. I thought that they were definitely the more physical team. They were just a team that sucked to play against as our play set, and also they were just, you could just tell that they were. They weren't even that fun of a team to watch. That's just what I'll say. They weren't even that fun of a team to watch and to play against. So I'm very happy that we didn't need that game 7. Um, a lot of Thunder fans out here saying that the refs kind of sold them on that last call, even though that entire game was favoring Oklahoma City, in my opinion. But yeah, just tell me, what do y'all? I mean, on a happiness of no, that's a stupid question. We're all very happy, obviously, beating this.
1 through 10.
Yeah. Just tell me. I mean, come on, like, who's a player that you really liked in this series? Yeah, what's your reaction?
Derek Lively, man.
I'm gonna go
Oh my
charge my
God.
computer real quick, but
Derek
I'll
Lively.
still hear you.
I got you.
Oh,
Derek
I'm at
Lively.
4%. Go ahead, Judge. I need to charge my
Oh, Lord. Well, 204 Sports Show, I'm here. Derek Lively, man, what a job. I tip my cap to you, man. What a performance from a guy who was playing most of the regular season, 19 years old. Of course, he's 20 now, but it's been a tough year for him, of course, with his mother who was battling cancer, just passing away near the start of the playoffs. He's been going through a lot, and the strength that it takes to even step out on the court in a time like this is just wild. And he made his name known. It was pretty obvious that he had 12 points, 15 rebounds, a plus 26 plus minus. And I know people don't want to value plus minus like that, but that obviously shows how much he impacted the flow of the game. We destroyed the glass against the Thunder the entire series, plus 71, I believe, total in 6 games. We out-rebounded them in every single game. And that's why I think that the Thunder, they need to go after a strong glass cleaner next season. I'm not sure why they didn't do it this trade deadline, considering that they have all those picks. They brag about all those picks that they have throughout the season, and then their GM Sam Presti didn't use any of it, and you showed how it cost them basically in this series. So Derek Lively, I tip my cap to him. He had a great series. I'm not fond of the people who are already counting out this team, which we'll get to in a second. The T-Wolves preview. But when I look at this roster for the Thunder, they're amazing. I mean, they were not some slouch. They were a first seed for a reason. They had the most wins in the West. What is going on?
Keep going.
They had the most wins in the West for a reason. So I mean, this is not a choke on their part. I just believe the Mavs completely outplayed them, and I mean that's all you can do. Just tip your cap to the Mavs for um, getting rid of this game instead of going back to OKC for Game 7, which it was going to be rocking. And I did not like our chances going back to OKC. I can't hear you right now, TJ. Your mic is
I'll go. He's fixing that. So of players, I'm gonna probably go with overall, I like Derek Jones Jr. for this series. I don't know the stats off the top of my head here, but he stepped up when he needed to. PJ was kind of, for a lot of times in the series, he was the best player on the court. But what I like what Derek Jones Jr. did is when we need that push in game 5, he had that spark. Game 6, he had that spark as well. And I think exactly what the team needed, especially because I feel like one thing that made the Thunder win this game, the Mavs win this series over the Thunder, is for the first time, I feel like all season, we beat the Thunder at what they...
He's trying to fix his mic. Yes, now let him switch. He'll be back.
Text it?
He'll be back.
I feel like one thing that the Mavs did that the Thunder have done all season, which they're known for, is they play like a team. The Thunder this whole year have kind of been like the primary like team ball team. Other than obviously Shea plays hero ball all the time, but they've been a cohesive unit. Obviously, that's why they were so high in the seeding this year. But I feel like the Mavs outplayed them as a team this series overall. Even though a lot of times this year there's a lot of discussion about the Mavs maybe playing hero ball or Kyrie and Luka just deferring to one each other and not really trusting their teammates too much. But here I feel like the team actually played like as a team and the defense was spectacular. So I think that definitely won them the series there. And I think Derek Jones Jr. was a huge part of that. I feel like from the one to however many players we played this series, I don't think we really reached anything above like 8 or 9. They all put they all put their thighs or legs down and they played that defense. So I gotta give a shout out to every single player on that roster for playing defense and just playing as a team.
Yeah, the two Derricks have been crazy. I do agree. Like real quick, I thought there was a lot of people out there that was talking about how the Thunder were the worst first seed in the Western Conference in a while, and it's just like, what are we talking about?
Oh
What are we
man,
talking about here? This team was very good. This Western Conference was very good this year. And you're talking about the 2022 Phoenix Suns. That first seed was pretty bad, especially when they had 64 wins on the season. And then you also had the 2021 Utah Jazz. Thank you. Who also had 60 plus wins and lost in the second round to a Kawhi-less Clippers. So, I mean, it's. I think the Thunder were a very, very, very good team, and that their length and their defense really hurt some of our top players. Obviously, Kyrie Irving, he didn't have a specific game this series where he really took over the game and went off and won us the game. He definitely was still our second best player on the court. He was still a very, very good player this playoffs. I know that a lot of people are just going to look at the box score and think that Kyrie did not show out this series, which he did. But I think this was kind of like a preview. This was kind of like a preview of Minnesota, and you'll hear me say this for the Stars too. Is that basically our second round opponent was just a less buffed up version of our third round opponent, in my opinion, especially defensive wise and length wise. Kyrie was already talking about how this was his toughest series so far against Oklahoma City. I'm sure he's talking about that because all the defenders that they put at him were taller, were lengthier. No Diddy. And so you got that, and now you got the Timberwolves, who they're going to be putting Anthony Edwards on him. He already said that in his post-game conference. You're probably going to have Jaden McDaniels on him every now and then. Mike Conley's probably going to be sent I don't know. Who will Mike Conley defend? Will he be on Kyrie Irving? If he's on Kyrie Irving, that's barbecue chicken, in my opinion. In my humble opinion. Look, respect Mike Conley. Love him. He's a very, very underrated player in the NBA history.
Great guy.
He's never had a technical, which is absolutely insane. But he did hurt his coach on accident. That wasn't his fault. That wasn't his fault. But I love Mike Conley. Not trying to hate on him. But it's still barbecue chicken for Kyrie. And so, but overall, yeah, I think the two Derricks in that Thunder series were by far the best role players for the Mavericks. They helped the team win in so many different ways. Derek Jones Jr.'s defense has not been good this entire season. He's always been a good defender, but something about this playoff series right now, maybe it's because he's the only player on our roster that we need to resign in the offseason. But he has turned his game up to a whole completely new level. And I love it. It's unfortunate that he is our only free agent this offseason. And he's going to be the guy who overperforms the most. But you can't look at that right now, and you got to enjoy what he's been doing and enjoy the playoff run that's been going on for sure. So, yeah. Do y'all have anything else to say about the Thunder series?
I was going to say one of my favorite moments from that last game was when he was shooting. This is when I knew the game was over. Oh, I shouldn't say over because I didn't think it was over. But when I thought that we were going to, at least make an attempt to close it out, was when he hit that fadeaway shot with the shot clock winding down. And then, He was
That was
rolling
just
down towards
unbelievable.
the box,
Crazy.
and Jason Kidd would have to pick him up and push him back to get back on defense so they don't get outnumbered. I thought that was a pretty cool moment, but
That was
probably won't be
Yeah, that was a
remembered
really
that long.
nice moment.
One
Yeah,
of
over
the
Chet
best
Holmgren.
fadeaway of the past couple of days, but we'll get to that later.
We'll get to that.
Someone else hit a fadeaway on their team. That was ridiculous.
Nasty, disgusting.
So yeah, we got the Timberwolves, man. That Game 7 victory against Denver. Definitely, you can't say that you're not concerned after watching that. But I gotta say, real quick, the media outlook on the series has just been pretty crazy, pretty biased over the Minnesota side, I believe. Not many people are picking Dallas to win the series. Um, the whole TNT crew went with Minnesota after Game 7, which I don't blame. When you're the Nuggets Wolves TNT series, or the Nuggets Wolves series was on TNT. The Mavs Thunder series was on ESPN. They knew that they were watching Minnesota. They weren't really watching Dallas like that. So of course they're going to pick Minnesota. I don't care about that. But man, even ESPN's talking about Minnesota winning, and that's when it's like, oh, whoa, come on. All right, let's not let this happen. All right, because I want to say real quick, Denver. A lot of people love Denver and think they're this perfect team just because they've won one title. Look, they're not a perfect team, and they're actually a little bit fraudulent. And we've started to talk about this. We started this dialogue in our TSTV group chat, but I've been saying this. The Nuggets, first of all, looked weaker than last year in this playoffs, but they haven't won a closeout game. They're 0-5 in closeout games, and they haven't been a team in the recent years that have won over 50-plus games.
50 games, yep.
Ooh,
They haven't done that yet. They haven't done that yet. That narrative is really good.
I'll be pushing that crazy next year.
So you can't tell me that Minnesota's victory over Denver is more impressive than the Mavericks' victory over the Thunder. In my opinion, I think the Mavericks had a more impressive victory. They beat them in 6 games, and they were the better team than Denver. OKC was the better team. I'm just saying, I think they were. Obviously the experience in the playoffs is huge, and that's, you would think that would pull the Denver Nuggets to win in Game 7 against Minnesota. But, I mean, I'm telling you, defense wins championships, and defense doesn't care about experience. And Minnesota obviously had that defensive ability to lock up Denver, and we'll see how it goes in Dallas. What do y'all think?
I will say that the Mavs are blessed to have some players, not all players, but at least some players who have played in a conference final before, and Luka and Kyrie. And when you look at, the Timberwolves, obviously they don't have, that experience lined up with them. The Timberwolves in general just won their second Game 7 in their history. They've not been to a conference final since the Bush administration. So when you hear when you look at people like underestimating the Mavs, like they're some underdog team, I personally don't understand it. I get why Anthony Edwards is getting so much praise, even though he shot 6 of 24 in that closeout game. Which, listen, I guess trumps over anything you do shooting wise, because that was a team effort that made them beat Denver, right? That was a complete team effort.
Yeah.
It was not Anthony Edwards putting the team on his back. That was a team effort down the stretch. As the Nuggets were crumbling right there, they only scored, I believe, 30-second half points or something like that. Crazy, but.
Yeah.
I just don't understand why this Mavs team is getting so underestimated, but you know what? I wouldn't have it any other way, because it was the same thing in round 1. It was the same thing in the semifinals. The pressure's not on us. Not at all. I mean, the media already has turned their back on Kyrie. They already think Luka is not as good enough and shouldn't be in the conversation as the other MVP candidates. So he's got to go out and show them and play.
He's the last one standing now, too.
He's the last one standing in the top 3 of MVP consideration. So all you got to do is just go out there and do your job and play. And look, I'm going to say this right now. I think it's going to be the same kind of pattern. It's going to be a tough Game 1 loss. It's going to be close in the first quarter and a half. Then all of a sudden, Minnesota's going to pull away. And the Mavs are going to leave Minnesota with a split series. And then we're going to see what's going to happen right there, because we've seen this in almost every single Mavs playoff series.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie, Joe. You asked me last week who I wanted to win that game. I wanted the Nuggets to. I said the Nuggets were gonna win, but I also wanted the Nuggets to win because, like TJ said about how he didn't like the matchup against the Thunder based off the regular season. I don't like the matchup against the Timberwolves based off the regular season. We have a better record against the Nuggets, obviously, through the regular season. Obviously, that's off of a Kyrie game winner. Or I think we would have pretty much the same record against both of them during the regular season. But I feel like every time we faced Timberwolves, I was nervous, I was scared, and they whipped us. I think we had like one game on them this year. So I'm a little nervous. I think that the whole narrative towards the Mavs and Luka specifically, I mean, let's be real, we all know that Anthony Edwards has been his game primed as this next Jordan guy and this next star of the league. They wanted it to be Jason Tatum, but Jason Tatum didn't have the guts for it, so they moved on. It's Anthony Edwards now. Ja ruined his opportunity, so they're putting it all on Anthony Edwards now. So I think he's gonna have that going for him. And I mean, he has, and he's gonna get PR training this offseason for sure. But that's besides the point.
But I mean, that's pretty crazy, man. You already have people. It's not even. You already have people saying that they'll take Anthony Edwards over Luka.
Which is crazy.
It's crazy. I just want to say real quick, one thing that was very, very fun. Not funny. Not a good way to put it. Adam Johnson, man, come on. I just want to talk about this TNT crew real quick and how crazy they were to all pick Minnesota and how quickly they were to pick Minnesota. I just, I want to say real quick, it was right after they were watching the Chris Finch press conference, and Ernie Johnson goes, "Oh man, one of the best storylines ever. This is a storyline of an NBA Finals team." I'm like, the coach got hurt, and you're saying this is a storyline? Are we kidding me? Hey, this is the worst thing you've ever said. And second of all, I would say Derek Lively's storyline is 100 times crazier and 100 times more of an NBA final storyline. I mean, how tone deaf this? I just couldn't believe that he went on to say that. I mean, the glazing's just crazy on the Timberwolves this recently. Media, fans, everybody, it's crazy. It's crazy. I really hope the Mavericks can shut him up.
I will say, firstly, the season series thing that Courtney was talking about, Kyrie was not playing all those losses, I believe. That's true. So this is the first time they're going to play our actual full roster. Of course, Maxi's still hurt. Hopefully he can come back eventually. If not, he's out the entire playoffs, I think. But if he does come back, it will be an actual full healthy roster. But they even played, our main starters that you see today once in that season series. So they really are playing a fresh roster, fresh after the trade deadline. The first 3 losses we had against the Timberwolves were against, I believe, Grant Williams. Also pre-trade deadline. Who else was playing right there at that time that we sent off? Am I forgetting?
Oh, well, yeah, Grant Williams, Rashawn Holmes.
Rashawn Holmes.
Oh, yeah, Rashawn Holmes.
When I look at that, it's not the same roster. I get that. So I'm not really worried that much about that. But I will say with that Chris Finch storyline, it's unprecedented. I get that, coaches don't often get hurt. But, man, I said this in the group.
It's not a big deal.
And I was being funny about it. But, why are we acting like this dude is not there, bro? He's still,
I know.
It's
not a big deal.
It's because he's not, pacing on the sideline back and forth, that he's not coaching. He's still there. And, look, he took the fall for Mike Conley, which is pretty cool. He stepped in the way to prevent him from getting hit into the crowd right there. Or I guess to the little press box right there on the side. But, man, come on. He's still right there. He's still coaching just from the bench. Just because he's not, standing and pacing back and forth like the assistant coach Mike Inouye, that doesn't mean that he's not making some kind of impact. So I think they're kind of overblowing the story a little bit.
The Timberwolves do got some good storylines, though. I feel like they could focus on other ones. I mean, obviously the Cat storyline.
Yes, but not this one.
But that
the Cat storyline.
Even Rudy Gobert, all the disrespect he's been getting, for him to triumph, that's some good storylines. But the coach,
and Mike Conley, man, never made it to the finals all his years.
Yeah,
but they want to focus on Chris Finch.
Yeah, so the Dallas Mavericks and the Minnesota Timberwolves start on Wednesday, May 22nd, 7:30 Central Time on TNT. The entire series is on TNT, so get ready if you want to hear some more Mavericks hates post and pregame. I still love the show, obviously. And we'll see if they have a show next year, unfortunately, for NBA on TNT. Unfortunately, I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but we are going to move on to the other Dallas team that's just doing it so great. Just defeated the 2022 Stanley Cup champions after defeating the 2023 Stanley Cup champions. The Dallas Stars are on a roll, ladies and gentlemen. And Gary Bettman, what you going to do now? What are you going to do now? You can't rig the series against us anymore. You can't help the other teams anymore. I know you loved Vegas, and I know you loved Colorado, but I know you hate Canadian teams. So I don't know. Edmonton, Dallas, who you going to pick? Who you going to pick the rig? That's all I'm going to say. Actually, I do have more to say. Real quick, that Colorado series. That series should have been over in 4, and those games 5 and game 6 shouldn't have had that much stress. But, unfortunately, not winning game 1 led to an extra 2 games. But also, you could still say, you can argue that in game 4, the Colorado, even after the Valerie Nichushkin news, wouldn't have just laid over and died and let the Stars sweep them. So, maybe it does go to 6 even if we win game 1. I don't know. Nobody knows. But, I just got to say, I really like how that, I like how the fourth line, I like all the lines. The Stars have just been beating these teams through depth. The Vegas Knights, Colorado, their top lines have all been quicker. They've all been a lot more effective than our first line. But the only difference between these two teams is that Dallas has just been killing the other teams with their depth. They've been able to get scoring from their fourth line with Foxa, with Delandria, with other players. And they've been able to get scoring from their third lines. Marchman has been scoring. He should have had the game-winning goal in Game 6. You've had players like Dodonov, Jamie Benn, and then the second line, of course, you had Wyatt Johnson, who's been playing in the first line every now and then in these playoff series. That's been our number one goal scorer all regular season, number one goal scorer in the postseason. So they've just all picked up the first line slack this postseason. Hintz is hurt now. We really need him to come back for this Edmonton series. The Stars just don't have anyone that like Hintz who can spread the ice, who's just quick like him, who could strike as fast as him. They need Hintz back for this first line to operate. It kind of hurts, especially since Pavelski has been struggling this postseason. It's been leaving Robertson out to dry. Jason Robertson hasn't been able to be as effective as he usually is just because his first line is gone. It's not performing like they were in the regular season. I don't blame him for not being the front of this team's playoff run, and goal scoring and all that. He's still having a decent, good playoffs, and but yeah, I'm just saying that these second, third, fourth lines have been really picking up the first line slack, and it's been helping us win. The defense has gotten a lot of goals, man. Miro's on fire, and I love it. Miro's on fire. There's also been other players who have gotten a couple goals every now and then. Lindell has, I believe, 2 goals of this postseason now. Suter got a goal. And not to forget, Chris Tanev has just been absolutely amazing for these Stars. The perfect trade deadline acquisition. The Mavs and Stars just chef's kiss on these trade deadline acquisitions this season. Chris Tanev is top of the league, top of the postseason right now in block shots. This guy is out of his mind right now. I know he is very, very hurt, and he is fighting through it. He's taking pucks to the leg, to the chest, to the shoulders, anywhere, just to help this defense, and he's done fantastic. And not to mention the very last person, Jake Ottinger, had a fantastic series. He had a couple mishaps, but again, Colorado, number one offense in the league. You just can't do much about it. But that brings us to Edmonton, who is probably even better in offense, especially in special situations. Colorado statistically is the best offensive team, but, I mean, come on. Edmonton has damn near the best 2 players in the league, Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl. They also have Zach Hyman, who has decided to score like 60 goals this year, in the absence of Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. Evander Kane has had a great season. They even have our good old friend Corey Perry back, playing for them. So they have a very, very good team and a very, very good offense. Their weaknesses are goaltending and defense, to an extent, just like Colorado. They are just like Colorado, but they are just a beefed up version of Colorado, because if you let them on the power play, they are going to score. They're about 50% from the they're about 50% and the power play percentage for the playoffs, which is just insane. They're very good. I think this series is going to be very tough. I would have rather played Vancouver. This series is going to be very tough. But I mean, honestly, I'm just gonna say just wait and see. Just wait and see for Dallas. I think that a lot of people again are kind of writing off this Dallas team, just like the Mavericks, when they really shouldn't have. The Stars are by far have been the strongest team this playoffs. They've played the strongest teams and have came through every single time. And I have high confidence for this team. We'll see. We'll see. I really can't tell you who's going to win this series because Edmonton is just so freaking good. But other than that, what do you have anything to say?
I was just about to ask you, were you praying that Edmonton was going to let that game slip through their fingers? Because, I mean, they were running away with it, and then all of a sudden,
They were.
I mean, it's unreal how they almost let it go away from them. But what a season from Vancouver. I mean, nobody really expected them to be as good as they were, but, that's a tough break for them going against just an a team that out-talented them, really, and Connor McDavid and the Edmonton Oilers. But this should be a great series. I think it goes minimum 6, and hopefully the Stars pull it out because we need another Stanley Cup in Texas. It's been too long. Been way too long.
It has been really long.
Through here.
Hey, I do agree. I think this game goes at least 6. It's not going to be a runaway for either team. I think both teams are going to have, their good statement victories in this series. I think it's going to be a lot of momentum changes. Edmonton is too good to just lie down and let the Stars beat them with depth and defense and goaltending. So it's going to be a very good series for sure. So anything else, Courtney? You want to say anything?
I'm not even gonna fake it this time. I mean, the series was.
You say today.
The series was on during this Mavericks game. But it's not. So I had to actually put my thing in. But I actually do have a question. So Roope Hintz actually has an injury. So I just want to ask you, how do you feel about him being day to day?
It's awful, man. They need him back. They need him back right now. They need him back. He's again one of a kind for the Dallas Stars. The way he spreads the ice, and also just his goal scoring. Again, he's just too good. He's also very good on the penalty kill. He's a quick skater, so he's able to get out on odd man situations a lot as well. So, yeah, we need him back. We need him back, especially for those odd man situations. But yeah, I mean, that's gonna wrap it up for the Dallas Stars. Real quick before we do, did y'all see the goal that got called back in overtime for Game 6?
Yeah, and then people were like, I know the Stars are complaining about, ridiculous goal calls. Obviously, talking about
the game winning.
I understand, but come on, man. I mean, officiating gets in the way like that. Come on.
That was 25 years ago. Get over it.
You knew that was. Come on, y'all. What are we doing?
Get over it. This is now. Of course, I'm going to be mad about it. That was a good goal. But
we really beat the Avs and the refs, huh?
Poetic. I know. Poetic finish. The Matt Duchene got that game-winning goal in the end because he deserved it. It was not interference. If we would have lost that series because they gave us that bullshit call on Duchene, man, that would have been awful. I would have been down horrendously bad today, but we're doing great. Anyways, we're gonna skip the Rangers this week. I know.
What is there to talk about?
There's nothing to talk about. They have not had over 4 runs since I believe May 8th, and I don't think it's gonna change until the IL team gets worse than our actual team. I think the IL team right now would beat the Rangers.
I was hyping up this team 2 weeks ago during the A's series, and then it's like I cursed them or something. These dudes can't even beat the Angels. I mean, it took a hit by pitch to beat the Angels. I mean, we have a losing record against every division team now except the A's, who we just finally took the season series lead over. We can't even have a series lead over the Angels, and the home field advantage the entire series. And they were just destroying us off pitching. The Angels were destroying us off pitching, not offense. Pitching. Crazy.
I just want to know who's the next player that drops to the IL. I mean, it's gonna happen eventually, right? This team is
Doles just got hurt, I think, right?
It's like the weekly IL drop. Who's it now? It's like our Pirtle.
Sad, man.
That's nasty, man.
It is sad,
Good
man.
thing the division is trash because, man, if this team was going against like any other Houston year, I mean, this division could be wraps by now. But good thing the
Yeah, I mean they're
Mariners
sitting around
are
500 right now. The Mariners are cooked as well. They have not been doing too good. They've been doing a lot better than us, but still not too good. So we're still in a very good shape for this AL West. But telling you right now, we got a 3-game series against Philadelphia and a 3-game series against Minnesota. Both away games or both
good.
away series against 2 500+ teams. We'll
Be
see if
great.
this is where they collapse or if this is where they prosper. We'll see, or if they
Great
just go
opportunity.
500. It is a great opportunity.
You're gonna go against Ranger Suarez, possibly the NL Cy Young leader. 8-0, 1.7 ERA. He has been dominant all season long. The good news is the Phillies have not beaten us since I believe 2015. We are riding like 11 or 12 game win streak against Philadelphia.
It's an
We
11-game win streak on them.
Swept them last year in the opening series, so obviously not the same series, same team. Bryce Harper was out in that opening series last year, but we beat them 2 years ago with Bryce Harper healthy. So we're turning.
Hey, but we also had Brad Miller in our lineup, so
Brad Miller. I mean, hey man,
we're basically playing AV9.
This Rangers team surprises me when I count them out. So hopefully they can wake up, because if we lose this series or even get swept, it's not looking good.
Yeah, but it's the good thing is that the Rangers can struggle, the Cowboys can be the Cowboys, but we don't have to worry about them right now. At least for now.
They don't.
We got bigger fish to fry, and so we'll come back next week, give you guys our thoughts on how the series are going. I believe it'll probably be about we'll probably be just about done with games 3 and games 2 and games 3 probably.
Yeah.
Around that time, we'll be able to react to some of the series and give us our thoughts, and hopefully at least one of them's going good. We'll say that. Hopefully at least one of them's going good. 1 out of 4 chance for Dallas to get a championship out of the NHL and the NBA. Please let it happen.
I think if both teams get swept, we just cancel the podcast, honestly.
Bro, could you imagine both teams win? Could you imagine that? Like, seriously.
It's just like Miami last year.
3 of the DFW teams winning.
That's the only thing. Miami was in the same situation last year, and they didn't get a championship. They both lost in the finals.
In Florida.
I actually did not know that Miami's team was the Florida Panthers. I actually didn't know that.
I mean, how far is Paradise from? Is it Paradise? Not. Where do they play?
It's Paradise, Sunrise, whatever. It's
Sunrise,
some kind of
Sunrise,
Florida, cheesy name.
Terrible name, by the way. Florida Panthers, give them a city. I hate that.
I mean, it's crazy. They're like on the outskirts, but I mean, they're still a very good team, and it's very, very likely the good ending, in my opinion, would be the Florida Panthers and Dallas Stars in the NHL Finals. So we'll see how that goes. I don't want to play the Rangers, but yeah, that's it for this week. We'll come back next week with hopefully some wins. Do you guys want to send out your socials?
Yeah, you can follow me on X and Instagram at Joseph_Duffy99. I'm starting to post a little bit more on the TikTok, so if you want to follow that too, at Joe_Duffy. And that's X and Instagram at Joseph_Duffy99, then TikTok at Joe_Duffy.
Instagram is clivesdalife, and my Twitter is C_Machani. I just had a brain fart, but those are my socials. I'm not starting to post on either of those, so don't expect exciting content from Joseph Duffy that you'll get from me.
Yeah, you're not going to get an update every single time the Rangers win.
Yeah, and apparently
which hasn't been on recently.
Apparently
y'all seen a post in a few days, man. What's going on?
Joe's favorite team is the Liverpool FC, so
hey man, I had to send my boy Klopp off happy.
Dossed him on his favorite soccer team. Favorite football team. Sorry.
Oh yeah, my fault. Football.
But yeah, you can follow me on Twitter /X at TJ.Krulowitz or TJ_Krulowitz, sorry. And then Instagram would be TJ.Krulowitz. You can also follow the 214 Sports Show on Twitter /X and Instagram at 214 Sports Show. We also post on TikTok as well, just like Joseph Duffy over here, at 214 Sports Show as well. And then we will be posting our weekly podcast every Thursday at 9 a.m. We've been changing it for the playoffs recently in these past weeks, but usually around Thursday we post. You can follow us see those on YouTube and Spotify. That's where we'll post them. You guys can subscribe, like, share, comment, whatever helps us um, uh, on those posts on Spotify and YouTube. And we really appreciate you guys watching. And we'll see you guys next week. Have a great week. Don't let the Stars and Mavs stress you out and ruin your day. It will be a great day no matter what.